So let's dive into a really unique business puzzle. How does a city like Dubai, a city built on a global workforce from literally every corner of the earth, actually manage all of its people? Well, it turns out it's a super high stakes game of tech and regulation, and we're about to break down the playbook they're writing.
All right, so let's just start with the main question, right? Why is managing a team in Dubai so incredibly different? And look, we're not just talking about having a diverse staff. We're talking about a legal and logistical framework that is, frankly, unlike anywhere else on the planet. It creates these challenges that your standard off-the-shelf business practices just can't handle. And this quote really gets to the heart of it. Dubai isn't just playing catch up with HR tech, it's actually defining what comes next for everyone else. Now, that is a huge claim. It's basically saying that the solutions being created in this one-of-a-kind environment could very well become the global blueprint for the future of work.
To really understand that claim, you first have to grasp the environment itself. And that brings us to our first section, Dubai's high-stakes HR game. And believe me, high stakes is not an exaggeration, as you're about to see.
This slide, wow, this really lays out what we're calling the HR gauntlet. Just try to imagine this for a second. You're juggling incredibly complex, constantly changing labor laws, plus a strict government-mandated payment system called WPS. Then, on top of all of that, you're in a never-ending cycle of managing visas and official IDs for almost every single employee. And you have to do all this while coordinating diverse, multilingual teams often spread out across tons of different work sites. This is so far beyond your typical HR checklist, it's a daily logistical nightmare. And this comparison right here just nails the fundamental shift that has to happen. You see, on one side, you have the old way, total chaos, manual processes, spreadsheets everywhere, endless paperwork. But on the other side, you have strategy. The only way to survive in this environment, let alone succeed, is to move from just reacting to chaos to building a smart, automated system that actually thinks ahead. So, you might be asking, how do companies actually make that giant leap from chaos to strategy? Well, the answer lies in technology. Specifically, what's known as the custom HRMS playbook. This is the key. This is what unlocks that whole new way of operating. So, what in the world is an HRMS? Let's break it down really simply. A human resource management system is basically the digital command center for a company's entire workforce. Think of it as the one single piece of software that's designed to manage, automate, and connect all those different critical HR functions into one central place. Now, any modern HRMS, it doesn't matter if it's in Dubai or Detroit, it's going to be built on a few core pillars. You need a solid system to handle payroll and track attendance. You need tools to make hiring people easier. And you absolutely need analytics to see what's actually going on with your team. These are the absolute basics, the table stakes. But, and this is the crucial part, in Dubai, the basics just aren't enough. Not even close. A generic, off-the-shelf system will fail. You absolutely have to have modules built specifically for managing visas, for complying with the government's wage protection system, and you need portals that actually work in multiple languages for your global staff. It even needs to connect directly to things like fingerprint scanners on a construction site. This level of customization, it's completely non-negotiable. And building a system like this, it's a real journey. It all starts with a deep dive, a discovery phase, to really understand a company's unique pain points. Then you get into the actual design and coding. But after it's rolled out and everyone's trained, the work isn't over. It has to constantly evolve to keep up with new regulations and new business needs. It's a living, breathing system. Okay, so we've laid out the complex problem and the custom-built solution. But the big question is, does it actually work? Does it deliver? Well, let's look at the proof. Let's see how this playbook is creating real wins across some of Dubai's biggest and most important industries. First up, we've got fintech. This is a sector that's all about speed, innovation, and, you guessed it, incredibly strict regulatory oversight. It's really the perfect test case for high-stakes HR management. You see, for a fintech company, a custom HRMS is like a critical shield. In an industry with zero tolerance for error, it makes sure every payroll calculation is perfect and compliant. But maybe even more importantly, it locks down all that sensitive employee data, keeping the company audit-ready at all times. One little mistake could mean massive fines or even losing your license. So this system, it's their lifeline. Next, let's shift gears to an industry where operational efficiency can directly impact human well-being. Healthcare. The challenges here are just immense. In a hospital, an HRMS can sometimes be a matter of life and death. Seriously, it's not just about managing schedules. It's about making absolutely sure that the right surgeon with the right valid credentials is in that operating room. The system tracks licenses and qualifications automatically, so there's never any question. This isn't just about making things run smoothly, it's about patient safety. And for our final case study, let's look at real estate. This whole sector is defined by these huge distributed teams, all working on tight, project-based deadlines across many different locations. In real estate, as you know, projects live and die by their budgets. An HRMS gives a project manager this incredible God's eye view. It can track exactly who is on which site for exactly how long, often using biometrics like fingerprint scanners, and make sure every minute of overtime is calculated perfectly. This is what prevents those huge budget overruns and keeps massive, multi-million-dollar projects on track. So it's pretty clear these systems are having a huge impact right now. But what does it actually take to get one? And where's all of this tech going next? Well, that question takes us to our final section, the next frontier. All right, let's get down to brass tacks and talk about the investment. As you can see here, the cost can range from around $40,000 for a pretty basic setup all the way to over $300,000 for an advanced enterprise-level system. But the key here is to not see this as just a cost. It's a strategic choice that scales directly with a company's size, its complexity, and its ambition. And this evolution is not stopping. The next major leap is already happening, and it's the integration of artificial intelligence. AI is taking these systems from just being efficient to being predictive, so it's not just automating tasks anymore. It's enabling smarter hiring, it's personalizing how employees can grow and develop, and it's giving leaders these incredible predictive insights to make way better strategic decisions about their workforce. And so as we see how Dubai is tackling the future of work head-on, it leaves us all with a really powerful question to ask ourselves. When you look at your own organization, is your approach to managing people, is it built for yesterday's world, or is it truly engineered for the challenges and, of course, the opportunities of tomorrow? For any leader out there, that's a pretty crucial question to answer.